Liverpool were unable to add another win after they beat Manchester United 7-0 last weekend, as the Reds tasted yet another away defeat as they lost 1-0 to Bournemouth. The defeat led to the club falling behind in the race for top 4 as Spurs managed to find a win. In today's video, we will discuss the 5 things we learned from the match, whilst also discussing the new £60 million deal Liverpool have confirmed, whilst also going over all the other latest Liverpool news from the last 24 hours. There is so much to cover in today's video. And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel guys. Before we get into today's video, as always, please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. After taking a step back from his role at Liverpool, FSG president and Jurgen Klopp's go-to guy, Mike Gordon, has resumed his involvement at the club. The club has faced a lot of uncertainty throughout the season so far, including takeover talks and the search for a new sporting director. Investment has not yet been lined up, and the search for Julian Ward's successor is ongoing, leaving plenty still up in the air ahead of a vital summer. However, Gordon, who reduced his role at the club and transferred responsibility to chief executive Billy Hogan back in November, has resumed his involvement in Liverpool. In an interview with the Echo, principal owner John Henry stated that Mike remains fully committed to the club. He did take time off for a while this winter, but is a long way off retirement. Gordon has been the most hands-on member of FSG when it comes to Liverpool, with Jurgen Klopp saying back in 2018, "Mike is my person, he's our man, in FSG he's the LFC man." Thus, handing over his responsibility to Hogan was considered seismic, with the latter reported that the new focus was the potential sale of Liverpool. And with Gordon now said to be back involved at the club, one could suggest that FSG's search for minor investment has been fruitful, but only time will tell. Stability cannot be underestimated, and with Liverpool to undergo a squad overhaul in the summer, Gordon's involvement alongside Klopp and Hogan will be key as to the next sporting director. Jurgen Klopp confirmed reports of Roberto Firmino's exit in the summer after the win against Manchester United, and has now spoken of a surprise at the news. It's been a week since Sky Germany's Florian Plettenberg reported that Firmino had made the decision to leave Anfield at the conclusion of his contract in the summer. In the days since, we've seen plenty of tributes paid to the legacy and legend that the Brazilian will leave behind. The manager was the latest to speak glowingly of a player he has used more than any other in his entire managerial career, but also noted his surprise at Firmino's decision. He said, "Yes, he told me of the decision. Surprised? Yes, a little bit, but I was not hit by the surprise. It's a normal thing to do. It could go 2 ways and it was one. I respect that a lot. It's completely normal in this kind of long relationship that we have, and that Bobby has the club and most of the players and fans is pretty special. I love the reception he got when he came on against Manchester United. And actually, he told me the news, and the only other thing he said was, now I want to bring this wonderful story to a positive end. He's completely here, completely committed, how everybody can imagine, and that's all we need to know. There's no time for goodbye in this moment, we have enough time for that later in the season. Whenever he will come back, the song will be here for a long, long time in everybody's ears. He's one of those players that would come with an opposition team and people would still be happy to see him." Liverpool have announced that they have continued their partnership with Expedia as the club's shirt sleeve sponsor, with the new deal worth almost double the previous agreement. Expedia is one of the largest full-service travel websites and has re-signed as a principal club partner and official sleeve sponsor for both the men and women's team for the further 4 years. The two parties initially began a 3-year agreement in 2020 that was worth £27 million over 3 seasons. The new deal, though, almost doubles the amount per season to 15, making the total value of the new 4-year deal £60 million. Part of this increased value is because the initial agreement was signed during the height of the pandemic. Expedia provides free supporter transfer for Liverpool FC women's away matches, allowing them to cheer on the team as they compete in the Barclays Women's Super League. Announcing the new agreement, LFC and Expedia have been working together to create the Nothing Beats Being There campaign, a content series of emotive stories from players and real fans describing their journeys to some of the most iconic matches from Liverpool's men's and women's games in recent history. Liverpool might be the most frustrating team in Europe, an absolute battering of their biggest rival last week, and now beaten by the league's worst side this week. In this part of the video, we'll discuss the 5 things we learned from Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 0. Van Dijk was poor. There goes the recent clean sheet record and league play. Arguably, there's a wider discussion to be had on what on earth is going on for the goal, as everybody seemed to stop, the runners weren't tracked, and Billings had a tap in after Ottawa was allowed to run about 40 yards, that is. But central to both concession of the match winner and the overall poor showing was captain of the day Virgil van Dijk. The big centre-back has previously alluded to the underperforming due to overplaying, but he had a week to prepare for this fixture and had a dreadful first half. He was beaten in the air, easily ran past more than once, missed an absolute sitter, and at the other end and for the goal, after giving up chasing the winger who beat him, simply stopped, not covering a pass, not directing his teammates, not getting back into a central position. It was awful in every regard. We'll have to point out that it wasn't just Van Dijk who was poor today. Trent and Salah are fellow big-name starters who were just as desperate. Attack was poor. 7 last week to line up an inevitable talk to the possibility of netting 3 at the Bernabeu. And the Reds go to Bournemouth, who have conceded more goals than any other team in the Premier League this season and can't hit a barn door with a banjo. Neto had one very routine save to make in the second half when Liverpool should have been pushing and pressuring the league's bottom club. A very quiet Mo Salah missed a penalty by a mile to make matters worse, while Cody Gakpo had a goal rightly ruled out early on. We beat Bournemouth by 9 goals earlier on in the season, and we didn't even have that many shots on target this time. How the team goes from fast play, incisive passing and clinical finishing a week ago to a torrid, inept showing in the final third is a wild mystery. Klopp's changes make no difference. Klopp made a change at the break, bringing on Jota for Harvey Elliott in a substitution that changed the formation, and it didn't work. Jota threatened once with Neto pushing his effort wide, but the Portuguese forward did not make any desired impact. Neither did his triple substitution midway through the second half, which saw Jordan Henderson, James Milner and Roberto Firmino come on. Milner did put the cross in, which forced the penalty for Liverpool, but there was little else to get excited about. One change appeared particularly baffling, with Darwin Núñez hauled off for Firmino when Salah had done nothing all game. Fabio Carvalho was summoned late on, but the youngster could not create some magic as Liverpool flopped. Liverpool's away form is worrying. Liverpool have been in horrible away form in the Premier League this season. We have now just secured 3 wins in 13 away games, along with 3 draws for a total of 12 points. After the game, Klopp admitted that the form of his side away from home is a concern. He said, "I am concerned, yes, I see it. In the home games, we're in the top 4, but in the away games, we're not even in Europe. There's always a reason, and our away results are that for sure. It was a big strength for us in the last year, it made a real difference, but that is how it is. We get a penalty, miss the penalty, and it looked a little bit for me that if we score there, it could give us a proper boost, but we didn't, and then you could see we were in a bit of a rush, we didn't create enough. We lost the game, and it's very, very, very frustrating." The race for top 4 has gotten more interesting. After our performance last week, Liverpool looked like strong favourites for 4th spot. We were only 3 points behind Tottenham with a game in hand, and many believed that at come the end of the season, we would overcome a bad start to the season and secure Champions League qualification. However, this result has made the race much more interesting, as well as seeing Spurs win comfortably against Nottingham Forest. Liverpool fans, what do you make of the new shirt sponsor deal? And what are your thoughts on us getting top 4? Will we get it? Let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section below. That brings us to the end of today's video. Please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. Thank you, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Peace.